I'm sure you've heard of the saying, something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue, when it has to do with weddings. Well, today I'm going to do the neighborhood version of that. Something old, something new, something economical, something truly eclectic, and then something with large lots. Well, I might not be a poet, but I think this is a good way to introduce the 5 neighborhoods I'm going to cover that are in Sarasota that fall into one of these 5 categories. So if you've been thinking about making a move to the Sarasota area, this is a great video for you to watch. Each week I post new videos all about the Sarasota area, the real estate, moving here and living here. So if this has been something that's on your mind, then I suggest that you go ahead and tap that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and keep on watching. And then, of course, as always, do not be shy. If you really are getting to that point where you're thinking this is something you want to do and you just want to chat about it, please give me a call, text, email me, reach out to me somehow, and I'd be happy to chat with you about your thoughts and concerns and just everything that's going on in your mind. There are so many great, cool properties here in Sarasota, and it's really hard just to pick 5. How do you do that? So that's why I decided, let's do these 5 categories: old, new, economical, kind of eclectic, funky, different, and then some neighborhoods with larger properties and lots. So I'm gonna go through the pros and cons of each of these neighborhoods, and there's even like a little bit of overlap from one neighborhood to another in terms of these categories. But I think this is a good start to give you an idea of what we have here in Sarasota. Okay, the first neighborhood I want to share with you is the Indian Beach Sapphire Shores area. And we also sometimes call this the museum area because it's just south of the Ringling Museum. This entire neighborhood is west of the trail, or west of 41 Tamiami Trail. We call it a few different names around here. So it's west of 41, or west of the trail, just south of the museum and north of downtown Sarasota. And it's also really close to the Sarasota airport. All of these homes were built between 1920 and 2021. Right now, there's some new homes going up, and often what they'll do is they'll take down some of the older homes that are in poor shape, and then they build a new house. But in this neighborhood, you're gonna see every style imaginable. So you can think of, just think from back in the 1920s. Actually, some of the homes from back then were really quite grand, and then you've got little tiny Florida, Key West style homes, little bungalows and cottages. There's mid-century style properties. There's everything in between. I've seen some homes that almost feel castle-like, and there's guest homes on the property because the yard, the lot is so large. It might be, an acre or more. And then some of the homes are on little postage size stamped lots as well. So there's just a little bit of everything there, and I just love it. It's a cool, funky, beautiful, well-kept area. There are some homes that are on the bay with really beautiful wide views. There's a few canals in there. Most of the homes though are garden homes, which means they're gonna back up to another home. So they don't have that type of spectacular view, but there's a little bit of everything there in terms of views. And then what else is kind of special about this area is that the streets are really wide, they wind, there's mature vegetation, mature trees, the landscaping, all of that is just gorgeous. It's such a beautiful drive through that area. And so it's a lot of fun just to take a drive through, just to see all the beautiful old homes, new homes, all the different styles. Now, in terms of real estate, in the last 6 months, prices have been low as $250,000 and then up to, over close to $5 million. And of course, those homes are going to be the ones that are on the bay, and they're quite grand and large. So you can get a little modest home in that area for under $300,000. Now there's 2, 3, 4, 5 bedroom homes in this area. And then the average price is around $600,000. So we've got a little bit of everything around here in the museum area, Sapphire Shores, Indian Beach area. Now there's some pros and cons to being in this area. I've already shared a lot of the pros just because I think it's such a beautiful area. The trees are beautiful, you're near water, there's a little park there where you can go and just walk It's beachfront, but nobody swims there, but there's a little area you can go to. Sometimes people will go over there to do yoga or play an instrument, or even take off to kayak from this little spot. And so that's kind of neat. Because it is so close to the museum, depending on where you're at in this area, if you're farther north, closer to the museum, it's even walkable. But what's kind of fun is that there's different events at the museum. They'll have concerts, of course, just going to the museum to see the artwork. There's just so many fun things that happen there. So the museum actually has a restaurant, or maybe two, there on site. And so that's pretty special. You're super close to the airport, which is nice if you have to travel often. And then you're just to the south is downtown Sarasota for everything that we offer there. And then of course you're close to the beaches. Because you're close to downtown Sarasota, Ringling Bridge is right there. Cross over, get out to Santa Maria Circle and Lido Key. So everything is in a super short drive. And of course there's lots of restaurants and shopping nearby as well. A couple other pluses are no HOA dues and no CDD fees in this area. Now, the downside to being in this area potentially is some properties may be in a flood zone, not all of them, but some of them, so you have to be mindful of that. And just because you're not on the water doesn't mean that you can't be in a flood zone, okay? So just because you're not looking at water, or the property's not just right across the street from the bay, you could still be in a flood zone. So that's super important to keep in mind. Now, I already mentioned it's nice because you're near the airport, but the downside is you're near the airport. So depending on where the house is in this area, you could be catching some of the noise from the airport, from those planes coming in overhead. And then because you're right off of 41 or Tamiami Trail, 41 of course gets really busy. Now there's a couple lights that you can take to get in and out of there as well. And then there's side streets. Not impossible, but just sometimes, certain times of the year, it could be a little annoying or frustrating. So I'd say that's a con. Now, other options, if you really like the eclectic look and style, if you like things like this, other areas to consider is west of the trail that's farther south of downtown Sarasota, like around the hospital. Those homes are really cool. Downtown Sarasota, Laurel Park is really awesome. Gillespie Park. Those are other really good options if you like a mixture of the older homes. They are building new, but there's a lot to offer. So there's other neighborhoods that offer that same wonderful feel. All right, you might be thinking, why is she wearing a sweater in Florida? Well, it is early February right now, and we had a little bit of a cool snap, and even this morning there was a bit of frost on the ground, which is very unusual for us. But as always, my faithful lawn guy was out here today. He did a quick mow, trimmed things up. So even though we have a little bit of frost, we press on, and of course, I'm kind of a wimp. If I told you what the temperature is outside right now, if you're up north, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but we'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I get cold real easily. Okay, number 2, we're gonna talk about what's new. All right, and I wanna share with you Sky Ranch. Sky Ranch is off of Clark Road, east of 75 at Lorraine Road. So Clark runs east and west, and then of course I-75 runs north and south. And so this neighborhood is off of Clark Road at Lorraine Road. Now there's 3 builders in Sky Ranch. There's Taylor Morrison, Arthur Ruttenberg, and John Cannon. Now with Taylor Morrison, you can get, of course it depends on which model you pick, your lot, and other features that you choose, but you can get a home around $400,000 or even a little bit less. It just depends on how much you want to add to the house as you have it built. And then with the other builders, it's gonna cost a bit more. And I can say for certain with John Cannon, $1.1 million would be the least that you would be spending to have something built in that community. So here are the pros of being out in Sky Ranch. Of course, first of all the homes are new. So you're not gonna be looking at fixing or replacing anything anytime soon. They're doing a really nice job with the roads going out to there and around the neighborhood because you're out a little bit farther east, and so they're improving all of that just to make things more accessible for everybody. And then in Sky Ranch itself and leading into it, it's gorgeous. Oh my goodness, the landscaping, the trees, everything that they're putting out there is just super beautiful. It just looks classy, has a nice feel to all of that. So it's a beautiful area. And then also, because of the way it's designed, you've got great amenities, just like pools, fitness centers, all different things there. It's kind of like a world in and of itself. And so you've got fantastic amenities, it's gated. So it's just a beautiful area with lots to do just right there. And then even though you're farther east, you're still really close to everything that you need to get to with grocery stores, and then 75 is nearby. And then also what's kind of cool is because you're at Lorraine Road now goes all the way north to Lakewood Ranch. So if you want to, you might be able to avoid 75 and just take Lorraine Road north and south sometimes. And right now there isn't quite as much traffic on that road at this time. So it's a good way to avoid some of that excessive traffic that we get at different times of the year. Now, here are some of the downsides to this area. Oh, one more pro is most likely nothing's in a flood zone. I can't say for certain, but I'm pretty confident none of them are in a flood zone. Okay, so cons are because it is a new area and it's kind of out there a little bit, there are going to be CDD fees. And if you're not sure what CDD fees are, I made a whole video on that and I will put a link to that below for you to check out. So that's important to keep in mind. So you are going to have HOA dues, you're going to have CDD fees out there. And then also, because you are a little bit farther east, it's just going to take a little bit more time if you want to get to the beaches or to downtown Sarasota. Now, what is great is because this is off of Clark, if you take Clark Road and just keep driving west, you're going to drive right into Siesta Key. So that's the South Bridge out to Siesta. So at least it's a nice straight shot. It's not a lot of crazy driving that you have to do or get on the interstate just to go to the beach. So you are a little bit farther east from everything that's in the heart of Sarasota. So that's another con as well. Now, if new construction is really your thing and you want to stay in Sarasota, then there's a lot of new construction also going on in Palmer Ranch. And there are a couple little pockets in random streets here and there where there's builders who have bought out maybe an old farm, and there's new construction going on around there. Where there's no CDD fees, the HOA fees are going to be a little bit lower. There won't be any amenities either, but maybe that's a better fit for you. So there are some other new construction options in Sarasota, but I thought Sky Ranch was a good one to share with you. Area number 3 is the old homes, and we're going to talk about the Gulf Gate neighborhood. Now, Gulf Gate is west of Beneva, south of Clark, and there is a road that runs east and west called Gulf Gate Drive. So it's all these homes just north and south of Gulf Gate Drive. The homes in this neighborhood were built in the 60s, and the majority of them are going to be ranch homes. You don't see too many two-story homes around here. The homes in this neighborhood could sell as low as like $215,000, and then they just go just a little bit north of $400,000. But the average price is probably in the low 300s. Now, of course, the homes that sell for less money, they're going to be smaller homes because there are quite a few 2-bedroom homes in this neighborhood. You can find 3 and maybe even 4-bedroom homes, but sometimes they tend to be a little bit smaller with just 2 bedrooms. So that's why the price is a little bit lower. I have to tell you about a house my sister and I saw a long time ago in the Gulf Gate area. We stepped in, and I'm telling you, I think everything was original from when the owner bought the house back in the 60s. I mean, it was the same furniture, same wallpaper, the telephone was on the wall, same appliances. I felt like I was walking into a scene in the movies or from a TV show, and everything was in pristine condition. Nothing was beat up or looking rough, but it was original. Now, not all these homes are going to be like that. In fact, very few will be like that, but I just thought it was kind of fun to see. And if you really like mid-century modern, that style, this is the perfect neighborhood for you. So here are the pros and cons of the Gulf Gate area. Well, first of all, the pros. The location is phenomenal because you are so close to the beaches, close to 41 to take you to downtown. And then actually, if you continue on Gulf Gate Drive, it'll lead you into an area area where there's some other little tiny shops and restaurants and cafes, and so that's sort of fun to get to. There are no HOA dues or CDD fees in the Gulf Gate area. And then what else I really like about these older homes, and in the Gulf Gate area in particular, are the lots. They tend to be a lot wider. You know, with new construction now, the builders are trying to squeeze in as many homes as they can on the land. So even if something's got a water view, it's usually long and narrow view. You know, your lanai is very small. But with these older homes, these ranch homes, they're more sprawling, they're spread out. And so you've got nice wide lots. And whether you're on a little lake in the Gulf Gate area, or you're just backed up to another home and maybe you've got a fence there, at least when you look outside, it's just, or you even walk into your house and you can see straight outside, it's this beautiful wide view. And if you put some nice plants and flowers out back, it's gorgeous. And so I think that's really, really great about these old ranch homes, because they're nice, wide, bigger lots. Now, there's a couple downsides to the Gulf Gate area. There's a lot of great things, but the downside is some of the lots might be in a flood zone. I don't think there's many in that area, but I just can't promise that there isn't any at all. And then because of the age of the homes, because they are older, some of them might need more work than others. So I would say some things you need to look out for is the roof, and insurance companies in the state of Florida are cracking down on the age of the roofs. Even if the roof still has some life left on it, there's no leaks, some carriers are being a little bit more difficult about providing insurance. And then something else to look at too are the electric panels, because there's a few electric panels out there, certain brands, where it's hard to get homeowners insurance on, and they really need to be replaced because they've been known to cause fires. So you have to look out for that too. And of course, just your regular cosmetic updates that you may or may not like. So that would be another downside. Now, Gulf Gate area is super popular, and some other options to the Gulf Gate area where you've got these mid-century ranch homes would be Southgate and South Ridge. And it's in similar location, similar proximity to Gulf Gate, and so you're not too far away from that area. And it's just, again, really beautiful, cool, kind of fun, and there's some neat things that you can embrace about the area. Neighborhood number 4 is the economical or more budget-friendly neighborhood. Not everybody can afford a $400,000 house. I totally get it. So this neighborhood is a great neighborhood because the properties are a little bit more affordable, and it's still in a great location where it's central to everything, and that is Ridgewood Estates. Ridgewood Estates is just on the north side of Bee Ridge Road around Honore Avenue. So I like this area because you are so close to I-75, 41 isn't too far west, and then you've got so much going on north and south of this area. And of course, you're close to shops, restaurants, everything that you might need. Now, the homes in this area were built primarily in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So they're on the older side. And then the prices start as low as around $170,000, and then they climb to about like $370,000, $375,000. And that's what's happened in the last 6 months. So the average sale price in this neighborhood is $263,000. And these homes they include 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, 4-bedroom homes. So a little bit of everything. Also, I like it because there's some lots that are a little bit larger. And so that's a great asset as well. There was a home I was in this area a few weeks ago, and it was a nice pie-shaped lot. I think the lot was like 15,000 square feet. So it fanned out as you look to the backyard. So there was all this space. Now, not all the lots are like that, but there are some in there that are a little bit larger. So if you need the space, there might be some options there for you. Now, the upside to living in this area, of course, is the location, as I already mentioned. And then because you're off of Honore goes all the way up to University Parkway, and it goes south all the way to Venice. So if you want to, take a drive and you don't want to take 75, Honore is a really nice option. Then also, Ridgewood Estates doesn't have any HOA fees or CDD fees. So again, with that budget friendly, you don't have anything extra on top of the purchase price and all the regular expenses as well, coming along with home ownership. Also, Ridgewood Estates is not a deed restricted community. So that means maybe if you have a boat, a camper, a commercial work vehicle that you need to leave at your property, you're allowed to do that in this area. So that's a nice option also. Now, the downside to this area is actually because it's not a deed restricted community. So now you might have a neighbor on occasion who doesn't keep things up as well. But I think that overall, it looks like the homes in Ridgewood Estates are pretty well maintained. So I like that about this area. I drive through, I don't think, oh, these homes look dumpy. So just because they're less expensive, it doesn't mean that you're forfeiting quality in your neighborhood. Now, I don't think any of the properties in this neighborhood are in a flood zone, but I can never say for certain. But generally speaking, this isn't an area that's prone for flooding. So, but just again, always have to keep that in mind. Now, another downside to this neighborhood is because the homes are older, just like I mentioned in Gulfgate, you have to think about the roof, the electric panel, and then of course any updates that are important to you to see in a home. So some homes might need a lot more work than others. Other budget-friendly neighborhoods would be like Kensington Park and Sarasota Springs. So if you want to be in the heart of Sarasota and you don't have a lot of money to purchase a home, these are some good areas to think about. Last but not least is the fifth neighborhood where all the properties have pretty big lots, and this is Forest Lakes. Now, Forest Lakes is between Bee Ridge and Weber, just east of Beneva. So again, super central location. You're north, south, east, west. There's something all around you that you need to get to, whether it's downtown, the beaches, 75, 41, everything's right there. So this is, again, another really good sweet spot. All the properties in this neighborhood have lots that maybe are as small as a half an acre, or they could be 2 acres or greater. Now, there haven't been a lot of sales in the recent months for me to give you a super accurate picture of the property values, but the couple that were there were like, $750,000 and, let me check my notes, $1.5 million. Now, there was a property that sold last year that was like in the 200s, but it was a bank owned, it was a foreclosure, and that house was a hot stinking mess. Like, the pictures were disgusting. So I have no doubt that if I were to drive past that lot right now, that the house would be down and that they would be working on building something else on top of it. So that was probably more for lot value. The pros of living in Forest Lakes, besides the location, as I already mentioned, is that they do have HOA dues, but they're super low. They're only $250 for the whole year, not $250 a month, $250 the whole year. So that's super reasonable. No CDD fees. There are some deed restrictions, but I don't think they're crazy strict in that area. So it's just probably enough so properties are being maintained, but they're not too crazy about some things. And because the lots are so big, even if, let's say, you did have a boat, a camper, or a commercial vehicle, a lot of people will build a garage just for those items, just for those toys, or for the work vehicle. And so it's still really doable if you have those things and you want to keep them on your property. So Forest Lakes is a good option. Now, the downside to Forest Lakes is some of the homes, because the lots are so big, some of the homes are on the larger side and they're all a little bit older. I mean, there could be some new homes in there, but originally, I think they were built like in the 70s, 80s, 90s. So again, might need some work, might need some updating. Watch those roofs, watch the electric panels. Although, like, the bad electric panels were more like 50s, 60s, early 70s. But still, watch the roofs. That's a big deal. And of course, with your big yard, you have a lot more to mow and maintain. And again, like I said already today, you got to mow all year round, because my lawn guy was here today and there was frost on the ground this morning. So you still got to keep mowing and trimming and keeping things looking lovely and tidy. Now, if having a larger lot and not wanting to be out east in the country is important to you, there's a few other really good options for that. So like I mentioned, Forest Lakes, there's Prestantia. Now, Prestantia is a golf course gated community in Palmer Ranch, so you're gonna have higher dues and everything there. Hidden Oaks. Now, Hidden Oaks is not a golf course community. That's off of Bay Vista, just east of McIntosh. And then the Landings, which is off of 41 near Philippi Creek, and that is a gated community, and they have a little bit higher dues in that area. And then there was one more, Beneva Oaks. And Beneva Oaks, that's a gated community. I think there's a golf course there, so you do have HOA dues there. They're a little bit higher. So lower HOA dues, Hidden Oaks, and this area, Forest Lakes, that I just mentioned, and then we've got the other beautiful areas as well. So if you do want larger lots, those are some other things to think about, and you're not out in the country. So those are some good choices for you there. So what do you think of my list? Were there other neighborhoods I should have mentioned in these categories? I hope this just gave you a nice little sampling, a nice little overview of what's available in the Sarasota area. It's really hard to pick which ones to share with you, but I thought this is a good start, and in the future I'll share some other videos. And actually, if you have any ideas for videos or something you want to learn more about, hey, throw it in the comments below. I'd happy to address those for you. Now, if you like my videos, again, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now, as always, don't be shy. Give me a call, text, email me. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Like I said before, sometimes people don't even know the questions that they have. They just know they need to talk it through. So feel free to give me a call. I'm happy to chat with you. And if in the end you don't think Sarasota is your area of choice, that's okay. I can connect you with an awesome agent in another area, in another part of Florida, or really anywhere in the country. Thanks again. Thanks so much for watching. Please know I appreciate every view, every like, every subscribe. So just keep on watching, and I appreciate your support. Thanks so much. Have a great day.